On the deciding day of October 12th, 2025, the college football world was shook. One of the winningest coaches in program history and one of the best recruiters in history had been fired from Penn State after a 3-3 start to the season. At the time, we questioned if James Franklin was ever going to coach again, because from all any average college football fan could tell, Penn State was his dream job. However, in an interesting turn of events, Franklin pulls a shocking move. He goes on an interview with College Game Day, not even a week after his firing, and tells everybody his intentions for the future.
Relationships I was able to build. I thought we were going to win a national championship there. We were close. That goal hasn't changed. We're just going to go win a national championship somewhere else now.
Hell yeah.
Great.
Hell yeah.
Now that Franklin is back on the market, what could college football fans expect? As of October 12th, there were already a multitude of college football programs in need of a coach, and many more in the foreseeable future. People expected a big name like James Franklin to end up at another decently big school and continue his reign of success. In the early goings of the coaching carousel, James Franklin's name was not thrown around too much. In fact, not really at all. Until about 2 weeks later, when someone broke the news that James Franklin was likely heading to Virginia Tech. The news seemed reputable, it seemed plausible, and it seemed like a perfect fit for James Franklin. Now, we just needed to wait till it's signed. 2 weeks pass until counter arguments. Before we break down into who really has a chance at getting James Franklin, let's take it back. Franklin served as head coach at Penn State for 12 seasons and posted a career head coaching record of 128-60. He won the Big Ten in 2016 and guided the Nittany Lions into the college football playoffs. Despite that success, Franklin was let go in 2025 after a series of disappointing results. That creates a unique situation. A proven name, but free to land at a new home. What makes him interesting? His recruiting acumen has been praised. He's known as a strong builder. It's also got a disadvantage. In top 5 matchups, his track record is less impressive, 4-21 versus top 10 teams. So questions about closing big games linger, dubbed the nickname Big Game James. Plus, his contract with Penn State includes a duty to mitigate clause, meaning if he takes a new job, the buyout games get interesting. Now let's resume. November is starting. The coaching carousel is in a whirl as has been all season. Virginia Tech seems like the only candidate to be landing James Franklin now, until shocking news comes out. Reports say that the University of Arkansas has talked to Franklin and that there is a very plausible outcome where he is the next coach of the Razorbacks. To the shock of many that thought James Franklin was going to be for sure at Virginia Tech. And now, it looks like we have a coaching war. So you've got a high-profile coach still in demand, and now 2 Power 5 schools appear to be vying for him. Which brings us to the reasons behind Virginia Tech. Let's look at the appeal for the Hokies. Virginia Tech fired their coach, Brent Pry, after an 0-3 start in 2025 and are looking for a reset. Reports suggest Virginia Tech feels urgency to get a deal done with Franklin before other jobs bite. But in Arkansas, from analysts, Virginia Tech is described as the most impressive candidate in its orbit, or at least it was for Franklin. Virginia Tech is closer to his past recruiting relationships, which makes for a way smoother transition. He's also familiar with the area in general, doesn't have to move far, and the money could work. Virginia Tech, however, needs to deliver on their end too. They need to show Franklin they're serious, a larger budget, upgraded facilities, NIL investments, etc. Some sources say Virginia Tech is prepared to go all in. But how much could we really know from that? They need stability. Franklin wants to land somewhere he can win and stay, not just be a stopgap. Some reports are questioning his willingness to commit long-term if he goes to Virginia Tech. In short, Virginia Tech is a strong fit, motivationally and geographically, but it needs to be more than just a good story. They need to prove they'll back him. Now leads us to Arkansas. After about a week, Virginia Tech seemed like the option for James Franklin. But it was weird that nothing official, or at least anything more reputable, had come out yet. It seemed like a good fit, but nothing was for sure. Then we fast forward to November, and Arkansas is thrown in the mix. Arkansas is already on Franklin's radar. Reports say contact has been made between Arkansas and Franklin. According to one source, Franklin told Arkansas that he wants at least $30 million to spend on the roster before he signs. For Arkansas, hiring Franklin would sign a major commitment to elevate the program in the SEC. See him as someone who has built programs and compete at higher level. Arkansas has been in a horrendous hiatus from the big scene since Bobby Petrino's firing in the early 2010s. Arkansas needs someone to bring a spark back to their program. The advantages for Arkansas include the allure of the SEC. If you succeed in the SEC, the path to national prominence is clear. A big budget, a passionate fan base, and the chance to swing for a bigger profile hire. The challenge for Arkansas. Franklin might prefer the fit at Virginia Tech because of recruiting geography, and the fact that the ACC versus SEC dynamic might make Arkansas a tougher landing spot. The demands are higher if he's asking for a huge roster spin. That raises the bar for Arkansas to deliver and for Franklin to execute. Franklin's resume versus top competition raises questions about whether the hire will deliver at the highest level, just like it did at Penn State. So Arkansas is playing the big swing card. We'll give you the resources. Join us and we'll go play for big time. But that also means higher stakes, higher expectations, and arguably a tougher path. Decision factors. What will Franklin weigh when making his decision? Let's break down some of his decision criteria. Budget and support. He reportedly asked for $30 million plus roster spin from Arkansas. Virginia Tech reportedly ready to increase their athletic budget and make larger investments in football. Clause that Penn State still owes him, so he may aim to pick a job quickly to mitigate that buyout. Fit in recruiting. Where does he believe he can recruit best and build the program? Virginia Tech gives access to Mid-Atlantic Northeast fewer competing Power 5 schools. Arkansas gives SEC recruiting territory, but also heavy competition regionally. Competitive path and expectations. Virginia Tech. There is perhaps a somewhat lower immediate expectation, but realistic upward trajectory. Arkansas. Instant high expectations needing to rise quickly in the SEC after multiple bad coaching hires in a row. Arkansas fans are restless for good college football. Job security and legacy. Does he see this as a long-term build or a stepping stone? Analysts question whether Franklin is simply waiting for the next big thing. A job where he can stay, build, win championships, not just fill space. In many ways, Franklin is in the driver's seat. He has options, and both schools know it. The key will be which school can deliver what he wants, and which one he believes he can turn into his legacy. Let's dive a little deeper into the NIL situations for each school. Which school could offer James Franklin better recruiting access and recruiting trail, and which program could James Franklin receive more money from? According to reports, Arkansas became the first U.S. state to exempt student athletes' NIL income and university revenue sharing from state income tax retroactive to January 1st, 2025. This means that for athletes at Arkansas, the dollar they earn from NIL may go farther, since they don't pay state tax on it, compared to athletes in states without such exemptions. From a recruiting financial standpoint, that's a tangible benefit, one that Virginia Tech doesn't appear to match. An article noted that Arkansas's NIL budget, at least on the basketball side, was estimated at least $5 million annually to distribute for NIL deals, placing them well above any typical Power 4 budgets. An Arkansas athletics official claimed that Arkansas has had over $500,000 of agreements, roughly $15,000 per agreement. The national average is about $5,000. These figures suggest Arkansas is operating at a competitive level, or at least positioning itself as such, in the NIL market. Arkansas has publicly announced positions such as Director of NIL Strategy and Associate Director of Player Relations. Having these internal roles shows the athletic department is treating NIL as a strategic priority, not just a side program. Arkansas ID also said the program is working to operate the full cap for revenue sharing, which ties closely with NIL competitiveness. Arkansas appears to be actively reconstructing its NIL collective in response to changing legislation and marketplace. That suggests Arkansas is not stuck in an outdated model and is adapting, which in a fast-moving NIL landscape is a plus. Virginia Tech athletic director publicly acknowledged that the school does not have the war chest that some other programs have when it comes to NIL. This could be said for Arkansas too, but Virginia Tech on another level. Virginia Tech's AD noted that they underestimated the men's basketball NIL market, and that the other programs in their conference are 70% higher in NIL spending. And recruiting pitch comparisons behind other schools, a disadvantage. A piece on Virginia Tech NIL earnings said, for a program like Virginia Tech, developing a solid base of $1,000 to $5,000 deal is critical. However, the real driver fuels $5,000 to $10,000 plus. Virginia Tech has many smaller deals and fewer larger ones, and a big name. coach or recruiting decision, the ability to promise big NIL packages matter. While Virginia Tech did pass HB 1505, allowing institutions to facilitate NIL opportunities, Virginia Tech is still building the support infrastructure. In other words, the tax legislative edge Arkansas has is something Virginia Tech lacks, or at least doesn't match right now. Putting it all together, if you're inside the conversation up for a high coach hire like James Franklin, here's how Arkansas's NIL situation strengthens its case relative to Virginia Tech. The tax exemption in Arkansas means NIL payouts may go farther. It's a concrete advantage to discuss with recruits/coaches. Arkansas publicly signals higher NIL budgets and commitment that sends a message of "we'll support you" in a big way. Having dedicated staff and willingness to reorganize, adaptability, and seriousness. If you're pitching to a coach, we're in the SEC, we're upgrading everything, including NIL, we'll give you resources to build, that resonates. Virginia Tech, while improving, still has limitations. Budget, scale, state, benefit, which means Arkansas could claim we're already ahead in this key area. But let's not go over our heads. Virginia Tech is still a top-tier program, and Arkansas has shown timidness to use this money they have in football. They're scared that it's not going to go to good use, and they're going to continue to suck. Arkansas fans are scared of this too. So could this lack of commitment be a problem for Arkansas? Arkansas' situation is not perfect. Some reports question the transparency of Arkansas's collective contracts and whether all the money is directly benefiting athletes. For Virginia Tech, they have momentum and improvement in NIL. Former head coach Brent Price said, "Virginia Tech is certainly in a better place than it was before. Recruitment decisions are multifaceted. NIL is a big piece, but coach fit, conference facilities, campus culture, recruiting base all matter. The public numbers for NIL deals are still opaque. Just because Arkansas has a strong narrative doesn't guarantee better deals for every athlete or coach, including James Franklin." If you didn't know, James Franklin's agent is Jimmy Sexton. Now, if you're not familiar with that name, you should be. Jimmy Sexton is the agent of almost every big-time name in college football. Jimmy Sexton is the reason these buyouts for coaches recently are so large and so unprofitable for the school. Take Brian Kelly, for example, and Jimbo Fisher. Two of the biggest buyouts in college football history. The schools are left in ruin because of Brian Kelly and Jimbo Fisher. Who do you think was their agent? Jimmy Sexton. That's right. Jimmy Sexton is everywhere. He's kind of like the guy who's behind the scenes, not too many people know about him, but currently runs college football ins and outs. In all, James Franklin could end up at about anywhere. And while it seems like Virginia Tech and Arkansas are the top candidates, he's still a wild card. He has Jimmy Sexton on his side, and you can't fully say where he's going. Could each team be getting played? Is James Franklin really the best fit for either of these programs? Who does he go to? And is he still a top-level winning caliber coach? I mean, he did get fired for losing to teams like UCLA and Northwestern. Also has the opportunity to play these schools. He could wait it out, make these schools keep upping their bids the longer he doesn't say anything, the longer other schools open and they get their bids, making them raise their bids even more. This could be a problem. Is Jimmy Sexton simply playing Virginia Tech and Arkansas? Does he know where James Franklin really wants to go and is just trying to get money out of the schools? Very well could be. But let's see what's most likely to happen. Given what we know as of today, many sources place Franklin as the heavy favorite to land at Virginia Tech. Odds at around 69% per some markets, although that has shrunk significantly since Arkansas has become a contender. It's still possible another school enters the race, so nothing is guaranteed. Implications of each outcome. If Virginia Tech wins the hire, it could mean a major shift for the Hokies, a signal they are all in, which could help recruiting and momentum. It might shift the ACC pecking order a little bit, and bring Virginia Tech back to that national prominence they so crave. If Arkansas wins the hire, it would represent a big swing for the Razorbacks and could raise the profile of the program quickly, but it also puts heavy pressure on Franklin to deliver in a tougher league. If Franklin chooses neither and waits, that might lead to both schools needing Plan B and could signal caution in the coaching market. From a fan's perspective, wherever Franklin lands, it's a major hire, and it shows how much coaches are valued in college football. The stakes, dollars, budgets have all escalated significantly. This isn't just coaching, it's program transformation. And maybe Jimmy Sexton has a play in this, raising the bar for how much coaches are willing to be paid and how much they deserve to be paid. So there you have it. The battle for James Franklin is getting real. What do you think? If you were Franklin, which job would you take and why? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe for more coaching market updates and SEC content in general. And I'll see you next time.